And we are back. NHL 18 franchise mode with the Calgary Flames. 2018-2019 season. We are just beginning the month of January and the year of 2019. Welcome back to episode 17 of our franchise mode with the Calgary Flames as we continue to roll here in our second full season with the Calgary Flames. We are at the halfway mark, of our second full season with the Calgary Flames here, and we are sitting atop of our division, of our conference, and I believe we are just 1 point back in the overall NHL standings. There it is, 53 points through 41 games, a 23-11-7 record through the first 3 months of the 2018-19 season. So welcome to episode 17. We got a very busy next couple of months here to finish off, of course, the 18-19 season and make a serious run here for a Stanley Cup. So, lots to get to in this episode. Before we begin, we're going to look at the stats here, as well as the standings very quickly. Before we look forward, though, to the next couple of months here, just wanted to look back at the first 3 months of our season. A season, that started off with a very, very good month, very good start, very hot start for the Calgary Flames in the month of October. So let's go all the way back here to the very beginning. The month of October, we went 9-2-2. So it was a very successful month of October, as you can see there. Anytime you could go like 9-2-2, that is an incredible start. But however, things dropped off in the next 2 months. In November, after going 9-2-2 in October, we dropped to 8-6-1 in the month of November. So not as good, obviously, as the month of October, starting to get very inconsistent there in the month of November, but things got even worse when we got to the month of December. We went 6-3-4. So it was a very odd first 3 months for the Calgary Flames. Like I said, starting off with going 9-2-2, and then going 8-6-1, and then 6-3-4 in the 3 months respectively to start off our 18-19 season. So you can just see in those records how the month of November and then especially the month of December got very inconsistent. But the one thing that stands out for me, obviously besides the inconsistency in those last 2 months, is that we did get a lot of overtime losses, which means we did pick up points. So we were still picking up points. If you look at the month of December alone, 6-3-4. That is huge. That we only did technically lose 3 games in the entire month in which we did not get a point. 4 games we did get a point, so we picked up 4 points that we probably shouldn't have had any business of getting in the first place. So, and I mean, if we had won those 4 overtime wins, we could have easily been looking at a much better record in the month of December compared to what we finished with. We could have looked at potentially a 10-3 record there in the month of December. But unfortunately, that's not the case. The inconsistency did get the best of us in the last 2 episodes, in episode 15 and 16. You will notice the inconsistency, of course, if you watch those episodes. I guess the one thing to say is it's very frustrating. That's probably the best way to describe the last 2 episodes, especially the last one. Like I said there at the end of episode 16, it doesn't make a lot of sense. That we were winning one game, losing the next game, winning one, and it literally went that way pretty much the entire month. We left the simulating up to the computer, and that's what the computer was giving us. So I said it at the end of the other episode. I don't know if it's just the game that EA Sports has made on NHL 18. Maybe if it's the way you construct your team, the computer automatically makes you go win-loss, win-loss, win-loss. It's very strange. That doesn't happen in real life. Let me know in the towel section down below if that ever happened to anybody else playing franchise mode, where you go win-loss, 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 win-loss. Right now, we're kind of stuck in that route. I think we did break it up at one point with a couple losses instead of going win-loss, win-loss, win-loss all the way. But it's very strange. I mean, you just don't see that in real life, and obviously, it's out of my control. It's the simulating that the computer is doing. But just a quick look there. I mean, you can even look back at the beginning of the month of December there. Loss, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, 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 win, loss, win, and then so that's where we ended. But the month of November was like that too, as well. So I think the month of November was more accurate to what I was saying there. But very strange. I know it's just 2 months. It's a small sample size, so we're just going to continue to sim to see if it continues. But it happened to us there in our first season there, in the second half of the season as well, and then, of course, in the playoffs as well. So I don't know. I don't know how you get around that. I think we're just going to continue on with our franchise mode here, just as is. We're not making any drastic changes. We don't need to right now. So to fix that inconsistency, I really don't know. I don't know what we can do. But it is what it is. We're still picking up points. That's, like I said, that's the main thing here. So this is why we're not panicking just yet. Like I said, I'd really like to fix the inconsistency because it's so frustrating playing this game and this franchise mode and having it go that way. But at the end of the day, we are still atop our division, our conference, and pretty much atop the NHL. So right now is not the time to panic. But 2 months there of inconsistency. We really could have been a lot higher than we are. I mean, we have 53 points in 41 games. We have played the most games of anybody in our division, but we are still atop our division there by just a few points there on the Vegas Golden Knights. You can see the Canucks there in third, the Edmonton Oilers in fourth, holding that final wild card spot. When we look at the Western Conference, there we are atop of our conference by just 1 point. The Jets have a game in hand on us, and they are just 1 point behind us. There's Vegas and Minnesota, as mentioned. So, we're just atop of our division and just atop of our conference by just a few points. So we're not like drastically, up there. And when it comes to the league, we are tied technically in points, but the Toronto Maple Leafs and the New Jersey Devils have games in hand on us, so that's why they sit above us. We sit third technically in the standings. There's the Jets 1 point back, as mentioned. The Hurricanes just 2 points back there. As well. So you can see teams are not far behind us. They're right up against us. We're right up against teams as well. It's really a logjam atop the NHL standings. But you know what? We just like to be in the mix. We're supposed to be a contending team this year. We brought in John Tavares. We brought in all these pieces to make us a legitimate contender this season. This is our window. Our window is now. So we want to be right here. We want to be with the top teams in the NHL, and we're doing just that. But obviously, come playoff time, that's when we really want to see the results from what we built. So there we are, 23, 11, and 7, as mentioned. Just taking a quick look at goals for through the first half of the season, we sit third with 124. When it comes to goals against, we are in the top half, but closer to the middle, and 96 is what we have allowed, but not by too much. You can see the Columbus Blue Jackets at 87 are just about 10 goals, have 10 goals less than us, for the league lead in that department. So, we're obviously scoring a lot of goals. That's what you like to see, and we're doing pretty okay when it comes to goals against. When we looked at our power play last, I believe it was tops in the NHL, and it is now second to the Montreal Canadiens. So our power play has dipped a bit since we last looked at it. I believe we were at 25% when we looked at it last. We're now at 23.7. But like I said, anything over 20% on the power play is just absolutely spectacular. To be to have the second best power play, in the NHL, that's pretty good. We have a pretty stacked first unit too. When it comes to the PK, 83%, I believe, is what our PK said. So that is good enough for a top half in the NHL, 83.9. So pretty much 84%. Like you can see there, we are probably top 10 at least there. Pittsburgh, Carolina, Tampa, Ottawa, Columbus, Winnipeg, Colorado, Montreal, and Calgary. So we are ninth. We are ninth when it comes to the PK, second when it comes to the power play, second when it comes to goals for, and in the top half when it comes to goals against. So we're not doing too bad in terms of our team stats. We're getting the job done, as mentioned. So this is why we're not panicking just yet. When we look at player stats through the first half of the season, we have exactly, by the way, played exactly half of the season. I know some teams obviously are at different paces in terms of games played, but we have played exactly 41 games in the month or in the year of 2018, which leaves exactly 41 games in the year 2019 in this 18-19 season. So we're exactly at the halfway mark. So this is a perfect time to look at all of our stats and everything. But through 41 games through the first half of the season, John Tavares, of course, leading us with 40 points. He's almost a point a game, has just 1 point less than a point a game. Incredible season thus far for John Tavares, obviously. That's what we brought him in to do. Sean Monahan, 39 points. He's just a couple points back of Tavares, as is Dougie Hamilton. Johnny Gaudreau is down there as well. You can see Monahan and Hamilton really getting it done in the assist department. Monahan, we really noticed that starting last year that his goal scoring has kind of gone away, but he's really picked it up in the assist department. I'm not complaining. He's playing with Gaudreau on that top line and Neal, and he's getting the job done. So it looks like Gaudreau's kind of taken more of Monahan's role and putting up the goals, whereas usually Gaudreau puts up the assists and Monahan puts up the goals. So they pretty much just reversed in this game, but it doesn't matter as long as that line is still producing. 37 points for Gaudreau, 20 goals. That's second on the team to only John Tavares, who has 22. Michael Frolik there, 29. He's one away from the 30-point plateau. Sam Bennett not far behind. Don't forget, Bennett's playing on the third line. He is playing on one of our power play units, but has played all season on the third line. So that's incredible stuff out of a third liner. 83 overall. Really impressive with the season Bennett's been having. 12 goals, 28 points. So that's pretty damn good for a third liner. Kachuk there on the second line, 26 points. James Neal, who's playing on our top line, only 25 points. You'd like to see a little bit more out of a top line right winger. But again, not complaining. We are second in the NHL for goals for. So at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter who's getting the goals as long as our team's getting them in general. But it's good to see guys like Tavares, Monahan, Gaudreau, and Hamilton, really the young core of our team at the top. But good to see as well Bennett, Kachuk, Neal there. Brody, 19 points. And then you can see there Versteeg, 17 on the third line. Giordano, our captain. Jankowski. I'd like to see a little bit more out of Mark Jankowski, obviously. I really wanted to see him grow this year. Only 11 points. So really like to see a little bit more out of him. And then you can see the bottom guys here that round off our team. So, not bad. Like I said, we're getting the job done. We're getting the goals and the points are coming. Pretty much everybody here in the pluses except for TJ Brody, -7. When you get down here, Derek Roy, -4. Ferlin, -10. This is all the third line, by the way. Hamnick, -3 on that pairing with Brody. So our second pairing really struggling more than the other pairings. But that is okay. You look at Joe Morrow, +17 on that third pairing. And where's Rasmus Anderson? +5. Anderson did miss some time as well with that injury in, was it the month of November? One of the months he missed some time with injury. And then there's Brett Kulak there, who came in through 20 games and put up a +7 record. So third pairing getting it done, top pairing getting it done. A second pairing maybe not as much, and maybe that's where we look to address needs going into trade deadline at the end of the month of February. So don't want to talk too much longer on that. I think we need to get right into the simming of the month of January and see if we can continue here. Like I said, end of February, that's when trade deadline comes up. You can see that our second pairing is struggling, so maybe we do address, a top 4 defenseman. That's to determine at the end of the next episode, really. Because we'll do this episode, which will likely be the month of January, and then we'll get this next episode, which will be the month of February, which will lead us right into trade deadline. So we'll get to make our moves then. So let's get right to simming here, though. Let's start off the year of 2019 against the St. Louis Blues. We'll keep an eye on, what we possibly might need to do come trade deadline. I know I said at the end of the last episode that I wouldn't mind maybe looking at a backup goalie. John Gillies has not had the best record so far this season. So when coming in to relieve of Mike Smith or to give Mike Smith rest, John Gillies has not had the best sample of work. So maybe we find somebody that can kind of bridge the gap until Gillies is a little bit more ready to take on a bigger role with this team. So first period here against the St. Louis Blues, there's Johnny Gaudreau, 21st of the season. They get one back, though, as well. There they are in the second period, getting one from Schwartz. Come on, Calgary, can we pull it together in the third? And we do tie the game up. Mark Jankowski getting in on the fun. So we are going to overtime. We have a horrible horrible record. 4-7 is our overtime record. So in the end of episode 16, I said I'm not going to play overtime anymore. I'm going to leave it up to simulating. So that's what we're going to do. So here we go, overtime, and they get the OT win. So Patrick Berglund getting that overtime winner. So we fall to 4-8 now. When it comes to overtime. So that's extremely disappointing, the overtime record, because we were supposed to be one of the better 3-on-3 teams in the NHL, and to go 4-8, that's got to be one of the worst records right now when it comes to extra time. So a bit of alarming there. John Tavares goes -3 in this hockey game, really the only drastic minus in this one. So really not used to seeing that out of our top player at all. Mike Smith, 864 save percentage. So here's that inconsistency again. He was coming off a shutout there in the final game of December against the Coyotes, and then he drops here to 864 in this one. We drop an overtime loss. Again, we do get a point, but again, you don't like to see these losses. So this is what I'm talking about. It's the inconsistency, win-loss thing. We're just going to keep simming. See if we can fix it somehow. See if the game will fix it itself. Again, I'm not going to go and make any drastic trades until trade deadline, just to fix this stupid inconsistency. But not much we can do right now, so let's just keep on going. We got the Philadelphia Flyers here, so I think we'll try this game and see what we do here. So 23-11-8 is our record. We welcome the Philadelphia Flyers. 20-18-2 are the Flyers. So Nolan Patrick on this one. First period, and holy, they get 3 goals. Claude Giroux gets 2. Travis Konechny gets 1. 3-0 Flyers after 1 period. Come on, Calgary. Like, look at those shots. 14-6. Like, we got to show up for these type of games. Second period, we get 1 back. They also get 1. Konechny gets his second. Hamonic there, beating the former Flame Brian Elliott. Shots a little bit more even in that period, but it wouldn't show on the score sheet. And final period of play in Calgary, we do get 2 to pull within 1, but it's just not good enough of a comeback. Gaudreau and Tkachuk getting the goals there, but we drop this one to the Flyers. So 4-3 the final. So there's back-to-back losses now, so not fun at all. We definitely we need a better effort here. I mean, we're in crunch time now, second half of the season. We got to have better games here. We kept Mike Smith in there, but 857. I wonder if we maybe try giving John Gillies a game here. But like I said, Gillies has not had the best record thus far in the season. So back-to-back losses to start off the year of 2019, and now we go on what I believe is our 5-day break here before we got the Vegas Golden Knights here. So we're going to kind of adjust the games played here by going on this 5-day break at 23-12-8. Really not a good start to the month or the year of 2019 and the month of January with back-to-back losses. So we got the Vegas Golden Knights here. I'm going to make a couple lineup changes before we start this one. But that's just we got to find an answer for this inconsistency. So when we look here, just quickly, we still are atop of our division there. The games have kind of adjusted a little bit. 43 there for the Vegas Golden Knights, so they are just 2 points back of us. If they beat us in this one in regulation, they will tie us in our division, so we obviously don't want that. So we're going to need 2 points here and refrain from giving them a point at all. Curtis Lazar can come out here, and we will put in Dmitry Yaskins, I believe. Just switching up our fourth line. Ferlin. We'll put in Cedric Parquet as well. Give him some action here. Take out Derek Roy. When it comes to defense, there's not much we can do about defense, but bring in Brett Kulak. But you're not going to touch Morrill or Anderson because, like I said, they've had pretty decent seasons thus far, especially in that plus-minus there for both Anderson and Morrill. The third pairing's getting it done. It's really the second pairing that's kind of struggling a little bit, but you're not going to replace one of them with Kulak, at least not right now. They're way better, obviously, than Kulak is. So we're kind of tied down when it comes to defensemen. We can't do too much right now. Mike Smith has struggled the last couple games, so we will give John Gillies the game here. But just looking at John Gillies' record here through 6 games, 4 wins and an 886 save percentage, 317 goals against, so really not good numbers through his first 6 games there of the season. But we're going to give him a shot here in the month of January to try and get that back. So Let's sim this game against Vegas. This is a big statement game here. 2 straight losses to start off the month. Can we bounce back here? They get 3 in the first. We get 1. Kachuk the lone goal. This is just not good at all. 3 goals on 8 shots allowed for John Gillies. Second period, we get 1 back. It's a 1-goal game. We can at least get this to overtime, but I wouldn't mind getting 2 there in the third and getting the W. Let's see what happens, and we do get it to overtime. John Tavares. So we do pick up a point, but we also give the Knights a point. We have to get the second point. We can't allow them to get it. Overtime, we are 4-8. Come on, overtime. And we do get the win. John Tavares' second of the hockey game gets us to 5-8 when it comes to extra time, and we get that much important second point. So we do get the 2 points at the end of the day. It's a good fight back game. We did give the Knights a point, but we are still 2 points up on them with or 1 point up, on them with that extra point. So 3-point night for TJ Brody, a 2-point night, 2 huge goals by John Tavares, including the game winner, 2 points as well for Matthew Tkachuk. John Gillies, very, very, very shaky start to this one, allowing 3 goals on 8 shots, but does bounce back to get his save percentage over 900. So I mean, he slips out of this one under the radar, but very shaky start. Still not the best night for John Gillies, but at least he got a 906 save percentage to slip out of this one. Back-to-back nights will give Mike Smith, obviously, the net back in this one, as we got the Canucks coming into town. So we won't make any lineup changes other than Smith, because we did get the W there against the Vegas Golden Knights, who is a good team, by the way, second in our division, as we see. Here are the Canucks. They're third in our division, so this is another huge divisional game. We got a home-and-home series with them now, so we're definitely going to want to get all 4 points in this home-and-home series, obviously not allowing them to get any points as well. So 20-11-8, we're 24-12-8, almost identical records there, not too far off. So let's get this first game of the home-and-home series going with the Vancouver Canucks. So here we go, first period. We get 1, they get 1, Thomas Vanek and Sean Monahan. Second period, they get a goal, Sam Gagner. Come on, Calgary, we have to have these divisional games, and we tied up once again. So we have to have, the record for the most amount of overtime games this year. I mean, this is incredible. We are, 5-8. Let's see if we can make it 6-8. Come on, Calgary Flames. And nothing. This is the first time we are going to the shootout this season. So that 8-6, or a 5-8 record when it comes to extra time, that's just overtime. This is our first shootout of the season. So do we get it done in the shootout? We do not. Mike Hoffman, who's now with the Canucks, ends up scoring the shootout winner. They get the extra point. We fall 3-2 in a shootout to the Vancouver Canucks. So technically, we now fall to 5-9 in extra time, but in overtime, 5-8. So either way you look at it, horrible extra time numbers this season, and that is kind of what's costing us this season. Just looking here at the numbers, nothing really drastic stands out for us in this one. Mike Smith, 905, doesn't really have the best night there, but at least he comes in and gives us a save percentage over 900. We can't be dropping these divisional games. Like I said, we do get a point, but we gave the Canucks 2 points. I mean, this is going to start hurting us in the standings. These teams are going to start catching up to us. I mean, just taking a look there now. 57 points for us, but 53 is Vegas, 50 is the Canucks. So we're only 7 points up on the Canucks. We could have been a lot. We could have been, obviously, 9 points up on them had we beat them there. But we have a chance to get a little bit of revenge here against them in the home-and-home series, and at least take the second half of this home-and-home series. So we have to, obviously, get that done here. Edit scouting assignment. Yes, we will do that. I believe we're still in the queue, and we want to do defenseman now for 5 weeks is good there. Okay, so second half of the home-and-home series here with the Vancouver Canucks. We won't make any lineup changes. We'll keep Smitty in net. Let's simulate this game and see if we can at least get the 2 points here and not give them any points in this one. Come on, Calgary. First period, nothing. Second period, nothing. Come on, Calgary. Big third period. Come on. And they get 2. Sven Baertschi, the former Flame, and Michael Delzato. So, we have just dropped back-to-back games against the Canucks. We got shut out in this one. 2 divisional games. I mean, it's not showing right now in the standings, but it's gonna catch up to us. I mean, Mike Smith showed up in this one. Nobody else really showed up. Like, I don't know what to say. I don't know. Here we are halfway through January, and we are, what, 1-3? 1-2-2. 1-2-2. Yeah. 1 win, 2 losses, 2 overtime losses. So 1-2-2 to start off the month, about halfway through. Oh, it's inconsistency, but it's these huge games against divisional opponents too. It's just, we're letting teams catch up. There's Vancouver now, 54. There's Vegas, 53. I mean, it's just, I didn't expect us to, destroy the NHL and be number 1 by so many points, but same within our division. But, you'd like to see a little bit better than the inconsistency, because, I mean, if we continue this, by the time we get to April, we could be in jeopardy of losing a playoff spot. I mean, you look at November, where we just dropped in the standings, December, where we dropped even more. If we continue this, we're going to drop in January and February and March, and then by the time April comes, we could be, looking at 4th or 5th in our division in jeopardy of losing a playoff spot. So, obviously, we're not going to let it get to that, but, we don't want to panic either. But this is just not good. Not good at all. So we did not get a goal at all. So we are going to try switching things up here. I've liked Sam Bennett this season. So for the first time, let's try putting Bennett at the right wing on that second line. Keep Neal there for now. We'll drop Frolik down to here with Versteeg. Once again, we're going to try and bring in some different personnel here to try and get some goals. We did just get shut out to the Canucks. We'll keep Smith in net. He had a pretty okay game there against the Canucks in that second game. First game was a little shaky. Second game was much better. But here's the Blues, 24-18-1. So this is a big game. 24-13-9 is our record. So obviously we have more extra points that we got, but pretty much the same amount of wins. So it should be 2 equal teams in this one. We got bounced back here with a W. Get some wins here, start getting some points, get ourselves back ahead there in the standings. So first period, they get one from Colton Parenkel. Dmitry Yaskins, the former St. Louis Blue, stays in this one and gets a goal. A second period for the Flames and Blues. Alexander Steen, the lone goal scorer. And third period, come on Flames, we get nothing. 2-1. We drop this one 2-1. We pick up no points. We don't score pretty much any goals except for Dmitry Yaskins. Another good night for Mike Smith, technically, 9-1-3. But we're just not getting the offense right now. Kind of a bad time for our offense to go dry. It's going to go dry throughout the season, but you hope it doesn't go too dry right now, because this is just not good. So, okay, so we are now just 1 point ahead of the Vancouver Canucks in the divisional standings. So we are in a bit of a rout. There's no doubt about that, but we can easily get ourselves out of this. So we're just going to continue to tweak our lines here. Sam Bennett, you're going to come up there. James Neal can go down there. Frolik there. Try keeping that like that. We'll try Ferlin there maybe. Just try to switch things up here. Yaskins did score, so we'll keep him in. Roy. We'll just try changing that up. Keep Smith in net. See if we can get anything here. Not going to worry about our special teams just yet, because we were pretty good coming into this month on special teams. So let's have the Winnipeg Jets and then the Rangers here. I believe we are on a road trip, excuse me. Yeah, we started in St. Louis, so now we're in Winnipeg. Mini 2-game road trip, I guess, in the Central. And then we welcome the Rangers, Devils, and Wild to finish off the month. So let's play the Jets here. Just trying to get a groove back here. Trying to get our confidence back against the Winnipeg Jets. So big in-conference rival here. First period, Calgary Flames. We get 2, they get 1. Dmitry Yaskins, a second in as many. Matthew Tkachuk getting on the board as well. Matthew Perreault for them. Second period, come on Flames. We get 1, they get 1. Johnny Gaudreau. Come on, huge third period. Hang on, Calgary, and we do. We get the 5-3 win. So Kachuk hits the empty net. Bennett beats Steve Mason there. Blake Wheeler, the captain, but we do get a much-needed 2 points there. So that's huge. Winnipeg's a good team. Like I said, they were a top third division as well. Pretty much identical record to us. So to get that win, that's huge. That's a good confidence booster, but now we got to start stringing together some wins. That's what we got to work on, stringing these wins together. There's Sam Bennett. 3-point night with the promotion there on the first line, I believe we moved him up to. So that is good to see. TJ Brody, 3-point night as well. Kachuk, 2-point night. Or Bennett's on the second line, isn't he? Yeah, he's on the second line there, Kachuk. So good to see. Bennett's had a really good season all around. So I've been very happy to promote him. He's had a good season. 8-7-5, not the best night there for Mike Smith. Michael Frolik was a -2 on that third line. So that third line did struggle. Jankowski struggled a little bit there as well. So maybe we'll try taking Michael Ferland off that line. But we do get the 5-3 win all around. So let's keep the lines here and just go right against the Rangers here. And see what we can get done against the Rangers, and then we can try switching up the lines from there. So, you know, we got to stay calm with this. Like I said, you don't want to panic. It's frustrating. That's the biggest thing. You know, the best way to describe it. But right now, you can't let that get the best of us. You know, still where we want to be, and that's with the top teams in the NHL. So, let's try and string some wins together. See if we can, you know, knock off some of this inconsistency. So first period, Calgary Flames, Michael Ferland, just as we were going to take him off that third line, he scores, so maybe keep him up there for a little bit. Ferland gets the goal, 1-0 Flames. Second period, we get another one. There's Sam Bennett once again, really playing well on a top 6 role now. JT Miller for them. Can we hang on in the third? And we do. We hang on for the 2-1 win. So I hate the 2-1 wins, or the 2-1 games when we lose them. I love the 2-1 games when we win them. You know, it means you kept the other team pretty much off the board. You know, even though you didn't get a lot of scoring, you got to find a way to win those 2-1 games, and we did just that. So not obviously the biggest offensive night, but we'll take the W. So a 9.68 save percentage for Mike Smith. Really good job there on 31 shots faced. Obviously stopping 30 of those shots. So not bad. Michael Ferland, like I said, chipping in there with a goal as well, and Sam Bennett. So we will keep the lines intact. That's back-to-back wins. Let's see if we can string together a third win. It's just about stringing together wins at this point. We only have 2 games to finish off the month. Can we make it a 3-game winning streak? Like, we got to start getting these little streaks going. That should get our confidence back, and then maybe it'll snap this inconsistency altogether. So, not tweaking the lines like what I've seen the last 2 games there against the Jets and Rangers. Can we keep it going here against the Devils? First period, nothing. Second period, they get on the board. Nico Hischier gets the goal. Come on, Calgary, fight back here in the third period, and we don't. So there's the inconsistency. After 2 really good games, we don't get any offense in this one. We drop it 1-0. So again, pretty good defensively. We only allow them 1 goal, but we get no offense there. So that's 2 of our last how many games that we've been shut out? At least 2 of our last 5 games. I forget when our last shutout there was, but not what you like to see. A 9.58 from Mike Smith. The good thing here is maybe Mike Smith is stringing together some very consistent and good games. So maybe he's getting his mojo back. Because, you know, Smith's been good this season, but he has not been, you know, spectacular. Not what we, you know, wanted to see out of Mike Smith. So if he can get his consistency back, maybe that is the start to getting the team's consistency back. So a huge break here before we finish off the month of January against the Wild here. So let's, and then we'll end this episode here. We'll keep them short, and we'll get right into February, and then in the next episode, and then we'll get right up against the trade deadline. So 50 games and 45 points there for John Tavares. That is good to see. I just want to take a quick look here before we finish off the month where we sit. So we have now dropped to second in our division. So for the first time this season, we are not leading our division. Like I said, with that 9-2-2 start, we jumped out of the gates, leading our division, and we did not look back until now. Now we have a team in front of us, and that is the Vancouver Canucks, a team that we obviously gave some points to there in that home-and-home series. So only 2 points back, though. They do have a game in hand, but we can at least tie them up before to tie for the lead in our division before we start off the month of February. A shutout there in our last game, so we obviously want to to switch up the lines a little bit here. So Bennett is on that top line. I forgot if I put him on the top line or not, but he is. He's really getting it done. What was that, 2 or 3 points in 2 games since being on that top, or 3 games since being on that top line, so we'll leave him right there. James Neal's not getting anything done there, so we'll put Frolik up there, put Neal down there. Ferland was looking okay there, so we'll keep him there for now. Just trying to switch things up here. Dmitry Yaskins can, yeah, we'll take Dmitry Yaskins out, and we will put in Curtis Lazar here as well. Trying to switch up the lines. We'll keep Cedric Parquet, or Derek Roy, excuse me, in for now, and keep obviously Mike Smith in as well. So hopefully this little switch up can snap that shutout that we just faced there in our last game. But now we got the Minnesota Wild to finish off this month. So let's sim it. Let's hope we can finish off this month in a positive note with a W and retie the Vancouver Canucks for first in our division with 2 points. So come on, Calgary. First period, they get on the board. Niederreiter, a guy that we were looking at maybe bringing into Calgary at one point. Second period, come on, Flames. Oh, we're just not getting anything. Zach Parise and Mikko Koivu. This is just not good. So third period here, we get 2. They get 2 though. Bennett and Tavares. So positive thing is we didn't get shut out on this one. Obviously, the negative thing is we dropped this one 5-2. So, that was not a fun month of January. November and December were not fun either. But January was not fun as well. So now we are starting to see the results from those inconsistent months. After 3 straight inconsistent months, really poor months in our terms, we have dropped to now second in our division. Come on, division standings, stay there. Second in our division with 61 points. We are still up by a good 6 points there on the Vegas Golden Knights, but the Canucks have emerged ahead of us by 2 points there, and they have 2 games in hand. Vegas has 2 games in hand as well. Edmonton has a game in hand, and they're tied with Vegas there, so only 6 points up on them as well. Yeah, it's not looking good. We're starting to see these teams catching up to us. Like I said, I didn't expect us to be, overly ahead of every other team in our division and in the league, but we are starting to see, the teams in our division creeping up and catching us, and I believe that should be the same now when we look at the entire NHL. So we were at one point second or third, and look at that now. We have dropped to 8th in the entire NHL. We were we were first for 2 months, then we dropped to second in the third month there, and now we have drastically dropped to 8th. So to go from first and second, and then all the way to 8th, that's a huge drop. Obviously we're still in the top 10. But we want to be a top team. We definitely want to be in the top 5. No reason we couldn't be in the top 1, 2, or 3. That's a huge drop. But you're starting to see that inconsistency catch up to us. So we have some big decisions ahead of us. 26, 16, and 9. We had such a better record than that. Before this episode, before the last couple episodes. We got to find a way now to fix it. Again, we're not going to panic. We're still, up there, but if the month of February continues, we could drop, down to here. And then like I said, the month of March, we could drop down to here. And then April, the first couple weeks of April, we could be somewhere around here, fighting for our lives come April. That's not good enough. We have to be a top team this year, and we have to be a top team, not only lock in a playoff spot, probably lock in our division, but contending for a cup, and we're not going to do that by dropping month after month after month. We are significantly starting to see the results here now. So again, we're not going to panic just yet, but we've got to start finding some answers here for this inconsistency. What do we do to bring in? Do we bring in more help on depth? Maybe we got to find an answer on our top 4. If Brody and Hamnick continue to struggle. Maybe we got to find a solidified backup goalie behind Mike Smith, because Gillies is just not getting the job done, and there's games where Smith is not getting the job done. We knew Mike Smith wasn't going to be as good as the past season, but I thought he could at least carry the load this season. Maybe we got to look at a goalie all around. I hate to do that, but We got a lot of decisions ahead of trade deadline. Let's just say that. We're not looking to bolster our team. We're just looking to stay a good team. I mean, it's hard to describe right now because we're supposed to be a contending team, but right now we're slipping, and it's kind of new to us. So we got to find a way to fix that. But again, we're not gonna overly panic and just start making trades left, right, and center. But we are gonna have to make a significant move here eventually. Trade deadline is upon us in just about a month. So we're going to have to find some answers here for this one. So we will end this episode here. Episode 17 comes to an end. But like we said in episodes 15 and 16, inconsistency, the biggest factor. And we are starting to unfortunately, we are starting to finally see the results of that as we are significantly dropping in the standings. Like I said, both our divisional and league standings, we are just dropping like flies right now. We're not getting the ball. We're not getting the job done. Excuse me. We're getting the ball and we are dropping it. It's not. Games we're getting multiple games we're getting shut out. Multiple games we're getting losses, and we're just not getting it done. So, big trades ahead of us, or big moves, sorry, ahead of us. Here as we end off this episode, we'll pick everything up in episode 18 in the month of February.